Awesome. This is an amazing turnout. I definitely underestimated how many people would show up. I'm really happy to see this. I don't know how many actual freshmen we have here, but it looks like a heck of a lot. So thank you for coming out here. We'll get started with our presentation. We've had a couple questions. I put 4:15 to 5 because I wasn't quite sure how long it would take us to get through this. But once you're done, we're open here 5 to 7 for an open house. If you have a schedule with you or you can view it on a phone or a device, go ahead and walk around the building, meet your teachers, see where the classrooms are. If you have requested a locker already, that should show up on your schedule as well. And so you can kind of take a look at where that is. Every large door you go into from our main hallways will tell you what classrooms are down that hall as well as what lockers. If for some reason you end up with locker 400 or 401, we have 2 of each. One is upstairs and one is downstairs. Don't ask me why. I just found that out this summer and I've been here since 2007. So if you have that locker, if you're unfortunate enough to have drawn that, let one of us know. We'll help you out and figure out where it's at. Outside of that, they're all pretty straightforward. When we're done, open house style, just walk around, get a lay of the land, and talk to whoever you want to talk to. You're free to come and go from the building as you please between those 2 hours. All right, so graduates of 2025. Kind of cool, kind of amazing, a little bit scary for some parents. I am also in the same boat as all of you. I have a freshman son who will be attending Packer High. So kind of cool that I see a lot of familiar faces based on the activities he's in. Many of you I've known for some time, and I think that's pretty fun. One thing I want to mention before we get into this, thank you Mr. Wilson for bringing this up. All student passwords will be reset tomorrow at some point in time, and then you'll have to come into school on Thursday, and in your advisory you'll be prompted to reset that password. So if you haven't taken a snapshot of your picture, make sure you do that tonight so that you have that. If you forget to or don't have the ability to do that, stop in the office if you don't have your schedule right away Thursday morning. It's going to be a Zoom, but we'll get you where you need to go. Okay? All right, this is me. Like I said before, I have been here since the building opened in 2007. I started at West Fargo High School for about 3 years as a special ed teacher. In this building, in that time, I have taught special ed. I've been a math and reading interventionist, as well as behavior, an assistant principal, and now year 1 as your head principal. And so I feel pretty fortunate to be here. Even though my kids go to other schools, this place is very near and dear to my heart because we've been through a lot here, and it's a great school with a bunch of great people. One thing I want to point out, I have a picture of my family up here simply because when I have the ability to make decisions with our admin team or weigh in on decisions at the district level, that's what I think of first. And so if the decision that I'm weighing in on or making is going to be good for them, I think it's going to be good for everyone. And so I just want you to know that. All right, our administrative team. Me, obviously, I have kids, last names A through C, and anyone in the AVID program. And as you'll see in a minute here, another slide, the counselor that I work with is Miss Jessie Riley. The next set of letters, D through HJ, so if that's your last name, you will have Mr. Schleicher, who is over there in the corner, and his counterpart is a new counselor that we have. Her name is Laura Baker. Mr. Wilson, our Dean of Students, HK through ME. His counterpart is Crystal Haugen. She is also here, right over there. Mr. Lakowitzer, I think, is doing some back-to-school stuff with his young kids right now, but he has letters MF through SC, and then Erin Beck, who's also over there. She is his counseling counterpart. And last but certainly not least, Miss Oisted, another assistant principal here, and her counterpart is Jess Steiner, and I'm not sure if she's in here. She's in the building somewhere. but their alphabet group is SD through Z. And why is that important? That's who you go to if you need help with your schedule. That's who you go to if you need advice about anything in terms of a 4-year plan. What classes should I take? In the odd case that you may be sent to the office from a class, you may come see one of us, and then we work through that with you, okay? One thing I want to point out is that we are trying continuously to break this idea that the principal's office is a bad place to be. Obviously, we deal with discipline, behavior issues, because they do come up. There's 1,612 kids here as of this morning, and so you're bound to see that. But the bulk of what we do is work with kids on positive things, okay? Freshmen, as you come down there, you will see more and more upperclassmen coming down to just talk about life, to talk about college, career readiness, military, anything under the sun. We try to create strong relationships with the kids in this building so that we can help guide you and be a resource to your parents, okay? This is just another breakdown. So Miss Riley, Miss Baker, Mrs. Haugen, Miss Beck, and Mrs. Steiner are our guidance counselors. Other people in that office, Mrs. Eikersbach is our career advisor. You'll see her around. She's also our ramp-up coordinator, and so she'll be in charge of a lot of the lessons you'll get on Thursdays in your advisory class. And then Mrs. Zemer, she is our new registrar in the counseling office, and Mrs. Steffen, you'll see in there as an admin assistant helping her out. So those two faces, if you have to set up appointments with your counselor, or you just need to come down and talk about your schedule, that's who's going to be helping you out. A couple other things. We have some help desk. We have tech people in the building. They're up on the 2nd floor, way back on the other corner of where we're at now. And that would be Andrew Law and Spencer Solly, is that how you pronounce it? He is not new to the district, but new to our building. Very knowledgeable tech people. If you have an iPad issue, they can definitely help you out. Mr. Karch, Mr. Canodal, and Ms. Swickla, they are all tech or curriculum integration coaches. They won't necessarily be helping you. They might be, but they will be in your classrooms helping your teachers develop really cool lessons, helping with technology, and finding unique ways to get activities introduced in your classrooms. Mrs. Liebel, she's our library media specialist. She has 2 to 3 people that work in the library with her. Hop in there if you need a book or a resource, and they'll be happy to help you out. And then our last one, Mrs. Strand Riskart. She used to teach health science courses here, and this year she'll be in a new role as our MTSS coach, working with reading, math, and behavior intervention. Officer Morris, there he is. Many of you may know him. If not, I would tell you to get to know him just on a personal level. He's a great guy outside of the fact that he's a Packers fan, but we won't talk about that too terribly much. He has a number of different roles here. Obviously, having a police presence in our buildings is important, but not only that, he can help with any kind of bullying, social media stuff, campus safety. He has a text-to-tip line that, as you find out, gets used pretty consistently. And typically the tips that we get when we follow up, we're able to find a good resolution for whatever's happening amongst our students. So a tremendous resource that the district invested in quite a few years ago, but having him here in the building full-time is amazing. So I'd like you to take some time, say hi to him. He's pretty friendly. He might even give you a sticker or something, I don't know.
And I've got A through Z, just like that.
Corey Herman, he is our new activities director, and so I don't know, Corey, if you want to talk at all, but he will be in the activities office. If you're not sure where that is, It's located between the main office and the counseling office, right in the hub of the building. Allison is his admin assistant in there, and so anything activities that you need, those two will help you out with that. We can definitely help you in the office too, but we usually defer to them because we don't typically know the answer. And so,
I kind of like sitting up here because I feel like the two old guys from the Muppets that kind of No, I just want to mention that, number one, I'm super excited to be here. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. But for all of the kids that are sitting here, there is an activity for you. We have esports, we have robotics, we have everything, all of the regular sports from drama to all of our different forensics, speech, debate, all of the different things that you might be interested in. Stop by our office, say hi. The biggest thing about connecting to your school is being involved with the school as much as you can. So, looking forward to working with everybody.
thanks, Corey. All right, so a couple things that we want to touch on, and that was kind of a nice segue into this. Obviously, we want to welcome all of you to Cheyenne. Some of you have been here through elementary school and middle school just watching activities. Maybe you have older siblings that have come through. Some of you, this is brand new to you. I think what you'll find is that if you are a brand new freshman, you've never been to West Fargo before, this will be the last day that you are the newest kid in this school. Every single week, we get new kids, and it's been that way for years and years and years. And so we're very accustomed to that. We try to connect kids, new students with existing students, so you can get the lay of the land and figure out how to get from point A to point B efficiently. Hopefully, some of you sitting here can be that student that can help someone new as they arrive here. As Corey said, we want you to be involved in something. There is absolutely something for everyone. I would like to challenge all of you, if you're not involved in something bigger than yourselves, to figure out what your interest is, and let's talk about getting you connected. Okay? We'll talk more about this, students, next Wednesday when we have our class meetings and talk about what Wednesdays will look like. But our plan for Wednesdays is to offer many, many different activities, both academic and non-academic, sports related, outdoor related, just life related stuff. You'll still be able to get any kind of help from your teachers you want, but we also want to get you exposed to many different things. Clubs and organizations would be one of those. If you're in a lot of stuff, or you have a job, or you ride a bus and you can't stay after school, and there's so many barriers that you can't be in something and you can't commit to it, we're going to utilize our time on Wednesdays to get everybody connected that we can into something that they enjoy. So it's going to be a slow process. This is something completely new, something we haven't been able to fully pull off yet, but based on our conversations with our teachers today and yesterday, I think we're in a pretty dang good place to make this work. So stay tuned for more information on that. Making connections, building friendships, it's important. Some people have a million friends, some people have one, some people have none, and are okay with all of that. Some people want more though. So what I would challenge all of you to do, despite whatever has happened to you or however you've behaved in the past, treat everyone around you with respect. Okay? It doesn't hurt anybody, and it takes absolutely zero effort to just be nice. And so that's what we're going to push every student here to do. We know that sometimes things happen, and we make mistakes, but here's the place to do that, because we have the opportunity to help you, and your parents can help you kind of work through that stuff, but above all else, just be nice to people. Again, we want you to learn some lifetime skills. Academics are important. They're not everything. There's much more that we can connect to the things that we're teaching you in the classroom, and so we're going to try to do that. Again, can't say it enough, try something new. Push yourself. If you're an athlete and for some reason down the road the inevitable happens and you get cut from that sport, there's 100 other things out there that you can do. Okay? If you are in theater or speech or something like that, music, and you don't quite get the part or the you know, the chair or whatever that you're looking for, keep trying, find another avenue, okay? There's always something that somebody can do. There's always ways to stay connected to something that you might feel a door close on you. There's always ways we can get you in and doing that kind of stuff and keeping you involved. Why are we talking about this? Why is it important? If you are a student that's a little bit more introverted, you're not real comfortable with doing this kind of stuff, the one thing I can tell you is that connection to something bigger than yourself will lead to more success in your classes. It'll lead to a higher GPA. And again, GPA isn't always everything, but it definitely opens doors for you if you try hard in school and you do well. And we're all here to help you succeed. Above all else, we want you to have fun, okay? And again, one thing I didn't mention is if there is absolutely nothing we offer here that you're interested in, I would at least tell you to go and check out the activities we have. Go cheer on your classmates, go cheer on you know, the upperclassmen, get to know some people, go have some fun. All right, you can't see this very well, but something that is fairly new to the district, something that we're going to continue working on is something called a profile of a graduate. And so there are some characteristics or dispositions up there that we're going to work on in your classes. We're going to work on them in advisory, and we're going to try to tailor some of the activities on Wednesdays around these things so we can develop these skills. Collaborative, compassionate, creative, resilient, communicator, critical thinker, reflective, and responsible. Okay? So all the adults in the room, think about how many of those dispositions help you in your current career. Quite a few of them. I know probably have to tap into almost all of those on a daily basis. And so we want to make sure we develop that in kids, because when you become a senior, you're going to be reflecting back on all the things you did, all the artifacts that you've kept stored on your iPad, and you're going to have a presentation that you're going to put together and you're going to present to a group of adults, which I've sat through many of them. They're really cool. I've gotten to know kids on a different level simply because I sat for 5 minutes and listened to them share things about themselves that they were unwilling to do prior, or we didn't have time to do prior to that. Technology, all of you 9th graders coming from Liberty already have an iPad. If for some reason you have an issue with it or it's broken, let's get that taken care of Thursday or Friday when you get back to school. We want to make sure those things are fully functioning as quickly as possible. If you are new to the district, you will get those handed out to you on Thursday or Friday during advisory. It'll take a couple of days to get everything up and running so that thing's fully functioning and all the apps work. But we're going to get it in your hands. We've got some skilled people that know what they're doing, and they can troubleshoot and help you out, okay? Schoology, just a quick raise of hands. How many of you use Schoology at Liberty? Nice. Nice. So you're familiar with it. We live in that place at Sheyenne. We have some teachers. Most of our teachers, if not all, do everything in there. The pandemic truly pushed everybody to make sure that they could get stuff there and make it efficient. We're continually working on streamlining that so that when parents go in and look at it, it makes sense. It can get overwhelming at times just because it's a ton of information, but ask your child. They should be able to explain where everything is and how it works. Our school, that's where we house all of our grades. So one thing I want to point out, some teachers will put grades into Schoology and then wait till it syncs with PowerSchool. The PowerSchool grade is the most up-to-date current grade. That's what you always got to go off. When we're talking eligibility and things of that nature, we operate out of PowerSchool and PowerSchool only. And the reason for that, that's our state system. That's where every piece of information is housed. Schoology is just our learning management platform, okay? Grading, you're all coming from elementary and middle school where you did standards-based grading. We have not gotten to that point yet here, and so you will receive a letter grade for everything that you do. You can see the breakdown there. It's very standard. Secondary-wise, or high school-wise in the district, we will be making a push to something called standards reference grading, which will focus on standards, but will still yield a letter grade, and that'll be a slow process, but just to kind of potentially put minds at ease. I know I've talked to many people that are really excited about this. I guess as long as kids are working hard and learning, we should be able to inform parents how they're doing, whether it's through a number or a letter grade. So, but this is a system that we'll work on. What I would say, freshmen, is if you do have questions, if this system doesn't make sense to you, please ask your teacher, ask your counselor, your principal, whatever. Get some clarification so that you understand where you are and what that grade means to you. Grad checklist. I don't know how many of you struggled to fill out your registration forms this spring and get your classes, to look at 4-year plans. It was a struggle in my house until we realized that planning forward just opens doors and possibilities. It doesn't mean you have to go to the military, you have to go to a 4-year college, a 2-year college, or straight to work. It means that you have options. So planning ahead and constantly tweaking that plan is absolutely important. So whenever people here, your parents are asking you about it, put some time and effort into it. You'll need 4 English credits. You'll have 1 English class every year. You need a half a credit of health that most of you will get this year. 3 math credits, 1.5 PE. So what that equates to is a minimum of 3 PE classes because they're all a half a credit each. Some kids take more, use it as electives because they love PE. 3 science credits, 3.5 social studies. You'll get that half out of the way this year for social studies with world geography, unless you take, well actually, if you take AP human geography, that's a half credit as well. And then you'll have a full credit of that your sophomore, junior, and senior years. And then 7.5 credits of electives to get you to that 23. And so it seems like a lot, but if you take 6 credits in 4 years, how many are you going to end up with? Anyone? 24. So you're already, just by hitting the bare minimum credit requirement every year, you're already a credit above what you need. And so as long as you pass those classes, you're in good shape. And so the one thing I ask students that are maybe in dire straits with a class or 2 is, like, what do you like about English 1 so much that makes you want to take it a second time? The answer is usually nothing. And so, and then they put their head down and walk away like, crap. Probably should try a little harder. So, it's funny, but it's true. Just do it right the first time, get the help that you need. Remember, if you're struggling with anything, we will have a plethora of time on Wednesdays, as well as some other time, but Wednesdays for sure to help you out, help you get those grades where they need to be. AP, or advanced placement, versus dual credit. You can kind of see the difference up there. Both of them have an option for college credit. I'd say the main difference is with advanced placement or AP, you have to score a 3 or higher on the AP exam in the spring for that class in order to get that credit. With dual credit, you pay for that through NDSCS, but Crystal, is it still 75 to 90 bucks a credit? 86 and change, so right in the middle. And both of them give you a weighted GPA. And if you're not sure what that means, let's say you have perfect grades, A's across the board, that would give you a 4.0. But if you take an AP or dual credit class and get an A, then your GPA is graded, so you have something above a 4.0. That's the best way to explain it. So, you know, if an A is typically worth 4 points, an A in one of those classes is worth 5. And so it definitely helps. Here's the thing about AP and dual credit. Some people love to load up on them and get a ton of credits and try to get a jump on college, and that's awesome for those people it works for. Some people do not even want to entertain the idea of taking one because it's too hard. I might have to put in too much effort, or I don't feel that I don't have the confidence to do well. I would say if you feel like you have the capacity, at least try one. Try one. You know, the challenge of that class is going to help you, especially if you are thinking you're going to be college bound or something like that. It definitely helps. I didn't personally take any of those. Where I grew up, that didn't even exist. We barely even had electives in my little school, and I feel like I did fine in college, but there's so many options out there now that if you can push yourself a little bit, you might actually spark a different interest or learn something new. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time on these. If you want more information, you can go on the Google machine and look up North Dakota Academic Scholarship, or the next slide is the North Dakota CTE Scholarship. We have information in the counseling office as well, but the thing is that you need to plan for this now. You need to make sure that you're picking classes that are going to allow you to get to that spot, okay? And so if you need more information, find out the ins and outs of that. Some of you probably already looked at it when you're helping plan for classes, but it's definitely a good deal. It's a lot of money you can get to go to a North Dakota school. CTE scholarship, same thing. Slight differences in what you need to take, but by and large, the same idea. You have to be a sound student, and you have to plan ahead. All right. You do not have a transcript at this point, because you don't have any high school credits, but at the end of semester 1, which would be about January 17th or somewhere in there, hopefully you all have some credits in the bank. And at that point, you can pull your first transcript. That can all be done through PowerSchool. You're just going to open up the PowerSchool browser. Don't use the app. The app is almost worthless, at least for this kind of stuff. So you go into that browser, you click on the box with the arrow at the top. Can't really see it, but it's a box and it has an arrow pointing out to the right. It's the applications, and then you'll get a pop-out with a link to that portal, and you can get your transcript. What are some other ways that you can get your transcript? You go see your counselor during the school day. You can go see your principal during the school day. We all know how to pull those things, and we can do that for you and help you plan things going forward. Okay, here's the last part of the instructions there. There's a file folder tab with your name on it. You open it up, and there it is. Okay, so you've already chosen some classes. You will have an opportunity potentially, if things change a little bit, semester 2, you come down and talk to your counselor before that starts, or your principal, and we can help adjust schedules as long as there's room in the classes that you want to switch to. But in the spring, you'll go through registration again. I think we're going to change the name because that gets really confused with the actual registration you have to do for West Fargo Public Schools. So we may change it to something like course requests or something like that. Really all you're doing is choosing the classes you want to take for the following year. And so we will take care of that in-house. You'll take some stuff home to your parents, hopefully, get some guidance there. But the thing I want to hammer on is make good decisions. Be thoughtful and intentional about the stuff that you're choosing, okay? Look at prerequisites. Those are things that you have to do or take prior to taking the next class. Make sure that you've got everything in order. And make sure that if you have an interest, take some classes in that interest area and see at the end of that if you're still interested in it. That's why we have all these offerings here. All right, if you have questions, I see a mistake up there, so I'll correct that, but talk to your teachers. Ask them, once you get into their classes, hey, what do you recommend I take next year? If you're in a science class and you want to know what's the next best thing to take, or math or whatever, ask them. They'll tell you. They'll also put in recommendations that will kind of float to the top when you register for classes or request your classes. If they've taken the time to do that, I'd at least consider it. And if you're not quite sure, go back and have a conversation with them. That is absolutely why they're here, okay? There's a typo up there. Mr. Grunig is no longer here. That would be Miss Baker is the new counselor. Not sure what we have left here. I think that is the end. What do we got for time? I go over? Awesome, early. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, there's a lot of people here, so you can just excuse yourselves. If you have any burning questions, I can hang around for a handful of minutes and answer them for you. But otherwise, enjoy your time here, make sure you get all the questions answered that you have, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Do you run